conflict. Chapter 9. Warmbad, Namibia. The screams and pleadings of 100 people played like a cacophony through the air, but the people observing the crowd from the balcony above cared little for their fate. This was not the first time Her Highness had asked for sacrifices to be made for her, but to have them delivered every day was a jarring prospect. Not that they would say anything out loud, lest they be fed to that thing she called her partner. You were only as useful to Muradnag as much as you obeyed her words. If you can't follow simple orders, then you're just another sacrifice who can be replaced with someone more subservient. We have gathered 122 people for today, my lady. As you directed, it was all done discreetly without tipping of anyone in the area, but since such large numbers have been missing every day, it is only a matter of time before someone notices, my lady, intoned Nizam, warlord of Zambia respectfully. It doesn't matter. In 1 week we will take our rightful place as the God Queen of Africa. Nangwaya, have others arrived yet? And what of your armies? Asked the to-be Queen Muradnag as she watched the people below, judging if they were worthy of being eaten by her partner. The warlords have started to make their way down to Zimbabwe as we speak. A few have arrived and are waiting at borders for your command. The armies are ready to fight in your name, my lady, said Nangwaya, warlord of Zimbabwe. Good, we have 3 days to topple South Africa. The Chinese will be done transporting their troops in 3 days as well. Once that is done, we will set a trap for Aries near the borders of South Africa and work on integrating the African and Chinese armies to work smoothly, she stated. My lady, I mean no disrespect, but are we sure that he would even come down here? We don't have his family or loved ones in captivity and would be challenging him on a battlefield of our choosing, which means he will know that it is a trap. He seems to be intelligent enough to avoid such a thing. Kamau, warlord of Mozambique, asked the would-be queen respectfully. Monsters like him parade around in other people's homes to show how great they are, of how we are beneath him and we need his help for saving our people. He will not take such a challenge lying down. Besides, he has shown that he cares for those he healed when he killed Yasir. I had Burhan swear his fealty to me and helped him take over Yasir's territory and had him quietly take those villagers he healed. They'll serve as a nice bait to call him down here, or the world would find out his true nature and call him out for that, she said in a sadistic tone that sent shivers down the spine of the people gathered. Enough of this incessant screaming. These people should be honored to be a part of my partner. It is a mercy in and of itself. She looked at the crowd below with disgust. Ozdear, eat to heart's content, my dear partner, we have a lot to do in this week, she cooed out to her partner, who slowly slithered into the opening, freaking out the crowd even more, sending them into hysteria as they looked at their doom. Gradually the sounds of screams started to die down as they were replaced with crunch and munch sounds of people slowly being eaten as Muradnag looked on delightfully, and her men behind her wondered with pale faces exactly why she called Ares the monster when she killed and sacrificed her own people to her pet monster. Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you for putting me back on track, my dear Nura. I got a little too carried away about the future, said Jack Slash to Nura, or Shatterbird as the world know her, while watching the fight in between the 3 blasphemies and Ares. It's all right, your vision for our future is certainly captivating, but we cannot let this disrespect of a mere plebeian daring to order us as if we are some common mercenaries let go. Shatterbird spoke in a regal voice. It irked her that this ravager would dare talk to them as they were common mercenaries who could be hired to kill heroes. They were artists who pursued a higher form of art that the common rabble couldn't handle. If Bonesaw can accomplish what she told, then having a teleporter on the team will be a boon for taking down Toybox. Those buggers are notorious to evading captures due to their dimensional tech. Cherish joined the conversation while lounging on the couch of the RV. Shatterbird frowned, being reminded of Cherish's presence. It irked her that she approached the S9 wanting to join them rather than being a nominee from an existing member. They were an elite group that were exclusive to the best of the best, but Cherish just walked in and nominated herself as if she were the next Siberian. She kept quiet because the girl passed most of the tests, but if an opportunity presents itself, then she would get rid of this waste of a girl. Oh, don't you worry about it, little Bonesaw will deliver. I can't wait to see if the result of her experiments. She's already preparing for the lab for her work. she's such a hard worker," Jack commented with pride in his voice. Riley would always the most fun he had breaking a person down and building them back up. And what a glorious work it turned out be. Mannequin made motions in the air asking something in sign language to Jack / "Oh yes, we still have to cover our tracks. Now it is all the more imperative as Ares actually hunted for the 3 blasphemies and even found them out in a crowd while they were in disguise. We never know when he'll decide to visit our little group, so it's best not to remind the man that we are out here. That unfortunately means no festivities with the good people of Cincinnati, and only a few people will be hunting Mouse Protector and Ravager," he said in sad tone. "What? I want to know if there's someone who can give me a challenge in that town. What am I going to do in this damn RV the whole time?" Crawler rumbled from inside, not liking the idea of stealth anymore. "Ned, my friend, Cincinnati doesn't have that many heroes and villains, let alone somebody who can hurt you, but you know who hurt you? It's Ares. Think of these as little steps we're taking to go against him. When Bonesaw clones you, you can fight yourself to your heart's content, evolving even stronger, and then command the weak ones to fight alongside you in a glorious battle against him." Jack placated Crawler, giving him ideas on how to keep himself occupied during their preparation for their magnum opus. Yes, you're right. Can't forget about him, got to get even stronger for my fight against him," Crawler kept mumbling to himself as he imagined an army of crawlers at his side in brutal and bloody battle to the death against Ares. "Looks like we're here. Shatterbird, Hatchet Face and Mannequin, please get Mouse Protector to join us this lovely evening. Bonesaw, Cherish and I will go invite Ravager for a meet and greet with her dear nemesis. And do remember to keep things quiet, nobody can know that we are in Cincinnati right now. Have fun." Jack told as went to call Bonesaw with Cherish following him. Mannequin wrote down "What is the plan?" questioning Shatterbird. "I can feel loose bits of glass in the city. I'll use them to keep an eye out for the hero. You can bait her and tank her hits even if she marks you. Her attacks are not strong enough to hurt you, and you can surprise her with your weapons." She paused to look at Hatchet Face with contempt. "I'll take this undead waste and have him ambush her when she's concentrating on you to disable her. Once she's helpless, take her alive, mostly alive," she said, walking out of the RV being followed by the two. Carol was having a puntastic day. When the local idiot villain going by the name of Sharker, who could grow shark-like feature, decided to hit the bank, she thought to see if she could join in on the fun and show him the error of his ways. She harassed him for nearly 20 minutes in front of all the cameras, displaying the greatness of mice over sharks, before taking him down for the count and having signing autographs and giving cheesy one-liners to her fans. It endeared her that people still loved he despite her juvenile behavior, but this was the only way she knew how to connect with people. She didn't want to go back to the days when she was locked up in her room thinking about how she'll change and become more popular at school and she would be at the center of attraction. She never wanted to back to the days when she was ignored for being Little Miss Looser Carol, never again. As she shook her head out of those morbid thoughts, she decided it was late enough to return for now. She'll grab something to eat and watch some comedy to cheer he up, and maybe do one more patrol at late night just to make sure nothing wrong was happening. She felt something being thrown at her. As she quickly evaded it and turned to look at what it was, she saw a familiar mouse soft toy that looked roughed up and had some blood splatters on it. She walked up to it and saw it was torn up and had note stuffed in it. Opening it, she went pale as she read the note and saw that it was written in blood: "If you don't want the child and her family to get killed, then show up to the nearby park alone, no informing anyone or calling for backup. Check inside the mouse for the consequences." She swiftly checked the ravaged mouse plushie for what the note said when she felt tear sting her eyes. She saw the index finger of a little child. Her mind turned back to the events of the day as she remembered a little girl asking her to sign her diary as she declared that she will grow to be a heroine just like her. That child had a mouse plushie just like this one. Her heart was thundering within her chest. Who could do something like this? If they had a problem with her, then attack her. Why drag in a child into this? They definitely wanted her alone. Had she been thinking more clearly, she would have come up with a plan, but Mouse Protector was enraged beyond words right now and Mannequin's plan worked flawlessly. As she ran into the park she looked around wildly for any sign of the family or the child. She was already deep within the park where people rarely went as the trees had grown out of control and nobody bothered trimming them down. She saw the silhouette of a person in the distance and ran towards it. As she came closer her face was pale and her body sweating when she realized that the S9 had targeted her and she ran in without any backup. Her voice cracked a little when she asked out loud, "You wanted me here, I'm here, where is the family? Let them go right now," she prayed. "These monsters did nothing to them." Mannequin pointed to tree beside her. The heads of the family were stuffed inside crude glass balls hanging from the entrails of the family. The little girl, the look on her face, Carol puked within her helmet as she took it off and threw it away, her face red with rage as tears kept rolling down her eyes. "You monster! I'll kill you," she shouted, charging at him without any semblance of control. She was halted brutally. She screamed in pain when she saw huge glass shards stick out from her knees and elbows, dropping her on the ground. When she tried to teleport away she realized she couldn't sense her marks anymore. From the corner she saw Hatchet Face walk near her and beat her on the head, knocking her out. "This was easier than expected. I have to give props to you, Mannequin, for this brilliant plan you came up with on the spot." After seeing the news came in the regal sound of Shatterbird congratulating Mannequin as he bowed down in a dramatic way, feeling proud of his work here. "Let the zombie carry her, let's make our way back to the hideout. The others must back with that presumptuous fool Ravager. I'm quite excited to see what Bonesaw comes up with," she said gleefully as they made their way back to the rest of the group. "You bastard! Unhand me, I asked you capture the mouse, not me," screamed Ravager as she was being dragged back into the lab of Bonesaw. She was waiting to see if the S9 could deliver that pathetic mouse-loving freak to her maker when they showed up at her base telling her that the capture was successful. She wanted to see Mouse Protector grovel and beg for mercy before she killed her for all the humiliation she caused her in front of national television. People stopped respecting her since her run-in with Mouse Protector, and all she could think of was how to take revenge on her. She never noticed her emotions being exaggerated by Cherish to let her guard down or Bonesaw injecting her with something that made her go limp. "Watch your language. We didn't like the way you treated us as your personal errand boy and girls, especially Shatterbird. She's pissed at you right now. So we decided to teach you that you must always be a good girl and respect your betters." Bonesaw chided her like an adult admonishing a child in a sing-song voice. The doors to the lab opened and she saw the unconscious form of Mouse Protector being loaded onto the bed next to her. She was secured in the same way as her and was drugged with something that woke her up. "What? Where am I?" she spoke to groggily as she looked around the room and saw the occupants inside and realized what was happening. When she saw her, her eyes widened in shock. "Ravager? They got you too?" she asked in a shocked manner. "I'm the one that called them here, Mouse. I wanted revenge on you for what you did to me, but it seems karma turned right around back at me." She was muzzled alongside Mouse Protector before she could complete her words, tears falling out of both of their eyes. Bonesaw giggled at them. "Oh, this is so sweet. You see, when you Ravager called us to get Mouse Protector captured, I was wondering how to fix the relationship between you two, you know, like wearing another person's shoe to truly understand them and whatnot, so I decided why not have you both inside one body made up of both of you to help you understand the other and make up," she declared as she started to laugh in joy. "As Mouse Protector and I started to futilely try to break free and scream out through the muzzle binding our mouths, I wondered if somebody could free them from this hell so that they could go back to the old days when it was just them here in Cincinnati. Before she became a famous hero and I became the premier villain of the city. Mt. Matterhorn, the Alps. I think these would be for the best. I decide the specialization for the day. I've spent a lot of time sparring and meditating today. Made a brief visit to places called Mako and Krasnodar in Russia, interesting places to visit but nothing much for me to do there. I walk to the Pandora's main systems and call her. Pandora, it's time, I'll share the specializations I learned today and the ones I've learned until now. Today's specializations are wavelength manipulation, dimension manipulation, miniaturization, conservation, and transportation, all worth 2 charges. The ones from before are language, energy, martial arts, biology, psychology, cold reading, programming, architecture, efficiency and planning. You already have AI and nanotechnology from when I created you. It's a long list, do brace yourself. I take the nanite helmet and put it over my head to transmit the knowledge using psychic waves. Once the process is done, I wait for Pandora to digest the information and give her thoughts. This is amazing. The doors all these specializations open are enormous. I can finally leave planet Earth bed and travel through the stars myself now, she said happily. I'm going back to Mars to stargaze. You said you had completed your upgraded sensors and wanted me to install them somewhere. I questioned her, remembering that she requested I do that by today. I can actually do it myself now that I can build probes that are space capable, but it would be a lot faster if you could drop of the 2 containers of nanites in the storage section on the Moon and Mars so that I can begin construction of our bases there, she asks. Sure, it looks like I'll be having your company on the Red Planet as well from now on. See you up there, I say as I find these 2 containers and fly into space. Ivory Coast, Cauldron Compound. The preparations of both the Yangban and Muradnag's forces are reaching its peak. The imperial family is even more shaken up after the death of 3 blasphemies. Our contacts have noted that they have reached out for the services of the Red Gauntlet. Once the Russian government heard of this and found out that Ares was spotted flying in South Russia today, there is a chance that squads of the Elitnaya Armia will be deployed in secret as well. The number told everybody with a stern look on his face. This is an unprecedented event, Kui, 2 opposing powers of Russia and African powers joining in to wipe out a threat that they don't want to deal with is not something I imagined happening when Ares first showed up, he finished. This is the kind cooperation we expect from the world when the enemy strikes out. I think this is for the best. This way we know that opposing powers are willing to play ball when the need truly exists, Dr. Mother remarked. For once something is going the right way for Cauldron. What if we contact these groups through our agents, preferably in the Red Gauntlet, and give them some C-53s to use as frontliners? It'll serve them better than non-powered soldiers with tinker tech and modern arms. Perhaps even use this as an opportunity to spread our influence more within these countries, Alexandria suggested. She was getting fed up with the non-cooperation from Ares and wanted him off the board. We could send out the more monstrous ones that have been rejected from the Nemesis program for being too unstable even after memory wipes. They have a high enough brute rating to act a meat shield for the attackers, especially since we confirmed Tong Ling Ta, the environmental shaker, is taking part in this operations. Contessa too gave her support for the plan. She was fed of not being able to path anything which had Ares in it. Very well. Since Ares is obviously unwilling to even communicate with anyone, we can simply assume he has no intention of joining any group whom we are able to influence. That decreases his usefulness, but he has opened doors for international cooperation this early, so we can definitely use that to our advantage. His killing of 2 S-class capes has reduced triggers and 2 potential pieces we could use against the enemy. I'll have the relevant agents get in touch with the 3 countries to give them C-53 support, announced Dr. Mother after giving the plan some thought. It's too bad this Ares wasn't willing to play ball with anybody, doing only what he pleased when he pleased. Such a peace was of no use in ending the enemy or ushering in an age of para-human supremacy. Thank for watching.